Breadman Food for Thought podcast. I'm your co-host Andre Swinton, and to my left we have the Breadman himself.
That's me. Hello everybody, how y'all doing? How's everybody been? It's been a little minute, but we here. Today, we got a few amazing topics that we're going to discuss today with you guys. And it's very interesting, and we hope everybody latch on and hold tight, and Dre going to spark it off. So I know, we have a couple of topics that we're going to talk about, so we're going to jump right into it, okay? All right, I think we should do that. Dre, one of the things that we was talking about, on the way up here, we discussed our new Supreme Court nominee who's been, nominated to Supreme Court. First and foremost, yes. I want to say congratulations to Ketanji Brown Jackson.
That's right.
This has been a long time coming for us.
Yeah.
Especially our counterparts, our black women. This is more so unheard of. But what we're going to discuss today is some of the things that she had to go through, via, the Republicans and how they felt, and, all of the stuff that they took her through, and it's regular life situation. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about, what's your take on Ketanji?
Oh, man, I think she's going to do good. She shared her views on a lot of issues and stuff like that, and I think just the vetting of Supreme Court judges and stuff, it had to be kind of stringent like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, us as blacks, we think that they was like extra hard, because our feelings get involved. They could have been, or maybe they wasn't.
Right.
Because, okay, let's go back. I'm going to go back a little bit with Clarence Thomas, when they did him. But with him, they tried to take they used Anita Hill to try to bring him down.
Right.
It didn't work.
Understood.
And Clarence Thomas was so smart. Like, he told him, like, this is nothing but a high-tech lynching. So,
right.
But the same thing, like, going back to Mrs. Jackson, like, she didn't have Anita Hill. They couldn't pull nothing, try to knock her down. They threw everything at her, and she stood tall, man.
That's one thing I wanted to touch on, the ability to stay steadfast.
Right.
The ability to no matter what you're dealing with and what you're faced with, being able to maintain your composure, maintain your level of education, and stay your focal point.
Yeah.
And I think it was to anybody that's out there watching, I think it's a major learning lesson, especially for us. And when I say us, I mean everybody. Because one thing we tend to do as people, we lose our focal. We lose our focus.
Right.
And she showed that who she's been all the way up to this point. You know what I mean? So, shout out again to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Just her overall perception of what she's trying to do, why she's there, how far she come.
Right.
This is what we need to see in television.
Right.
So
and to piggyback off that, she didn't ask for that position.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like somebody throw your name in a hat and suggest you, and you say, okay, I'll accept, you know what I mean? And I go through the process, and they just try to tear you down, man. Like, wow. That's something, it's something if you sign up for it, but you don't sign up for it and they come at you like that.
Right.
And like you mentioned focus, right? And I'm going to talk about the slap that was heard around the world. So everybody know what I'm talking about. Will Smith, Chris Rock. I don't want to talk about the slap, though. I want to talk about the focus, that laser focus that Chris Rock had. How he stayed on topic. He might have went off script when he did the joke about Jada. But he came back and and stay focused on the issue at hand, delivering the award. So.
Let me just say this, and I'll chime in for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Let me just say this. Me myself as a person, I love when I seen that because, and again, to anybody that's watching, I'm loving to get to the point that nothing knocks you off your square. I'm so used to, because where the background I come from and, the mentality was like, oh, nobody is going to, like that, unheard of to let somebody smack you with that type of force.
Right.
And nothing happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Chris Rock.
Yeah, shout out to
and shout out to Will Smith too. I mean, because one thing we also got to understand as people, we got to understand how much peer pressure that man dealt with year in and year out. It takes nothing away from the situation, but to me, they're both learning curves.
Oh yeah.
For us. We should take that as a grain of salt, learn from it, at people, and let's continue growing, and work off of it and make it count for ourselves,
Yeah.
So, with that being said, man, I mean, it's crazy situation.
Yeah, I agree, and I want to add this to it. That focus of Chris Rock.
Right.
If anybody could use that type of focus for 90 days, just imagine where your life would be at in 90 days being as focused as Chris Rock was.
Wow.
And then another 90 days after that.
Wow.
Focus like that. If you could focus like that for 1 year, I mean, if I could focus like that for 90 days, I'd be a millionaire in 90 days. If I could focus like Chris Rock did. 90 days later, I know I'm going to be at 5.
Right.
Because that's that laser focus he had.
Which is brilliant, and which is, I was going to say uncommon, but it is common because it could be done.
Yeah.
And we all witness a person do it. So that right there in itself, the minute that I saw that, I was like, whoa, okay, we can be focused.
Yeah.
We can stay steadfast.
Yeah.
We can get through hurdles that we think we can't get to. So I like your perception with that, where we could take that and run with it. And this is our mentality today.
Because we let so many things distract us. Like even right now, if something falls somewhere, they're gonna pull my attention, and I'm gonna start pausing, missing a beat and stuff like that. It's gonna take me a minute to refocus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me just say this to everybody out there watching. Log on Instagram to moodGroov. That's MOOD Groove. Excuse me. MOODGROOV. Instagram, Facebook. Check us out. Again, this is the Breadman Food for Thought podcast. My counterpart Andre here, who always dynamite, with what he do and his perception and mindset of, what he think of these subject matters, and myself along with it. We got a lot to talk about. We heavily engaged in the community as well as music. You guys can chime in, feel free. You know what I mean? Because we have a lot of interesting things to talk about, and we doing it out of love. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to continue to move forward. But I just wanted to say that and shout out to everybody who's even watching. You know what I mean? Because even though watch it, you had to have some interest in what we're discussing, during this podcast. All right? So back to your point you was going to say, Dre?
Well, just having that laser focus. And I think everybody should work on that.
Okay.
Try to focus on something.
Right.
Right. And it'll change your life. I know it will change your life. So.
Tell me what you think about the Sixers, man. What you think they're gonna do? Because if we lose this series, and get put out in the first round by the Toronto Raptors, I think that Doc Rivers coaching job is in jeopardy, as well as maybe the talking where Harden is and stuff like that. What you think?
Well, I look at it like this. You just hit on some points that shift my focus a little bit. You know, when you were talking about a man, you know, livelihood and stuff like
Right.
that, so it like shift my focus. Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that even though Doc Rivers is dealing with a new team.
Right.
You know, so now he's got to work everything out with this new team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the trade and everything like that. So you dealing with different energy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure that they can work more together. Even James Harden is not playing the way he used to play. Is he's getting older and slowing down a little bit? Or is it just that he's trying to match other people's energy? So what's
Team's
going on?
energy.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
so what's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
So you like certain things have to be figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's going on. So that's where I'm at with it. So
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. I like us to win.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we building, and we got to put the right players, with the, you know, together, and make sure that people playing at their maximum,
Mhm.
or not trying to, you know, make concessions for other players, you know, to keep them in the game or whatever. But you know, just to play like we know James Harden used to play hard and
Mhm.
faster, but now he seemed like, to me, it seemed like his energy is
Mhm.
not like where it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's slowing down for Embiid or, you know what I mean? What's going on?
Well, I'm hoping, from what I'm watching and seeing, I'm hoping he's more learning to, after the big kahunas and the talk about him
Mm-hmm.
taking 1,000,000 shots, you know, the unselfish James Harden is what we're looking for. To fit in better, and also even with Doc Rivers, keep in mind this is not his first year.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't expect you to automatically. Well, I would love to win the championship,
Mm-hmm.
but the weaknesses that I see is the fact of a lack of defense and tenacity.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I said it before. You know what I mean? When we talked about this, that's the only thing. Like, you know, other than that, you know, because it's players' responsibility to do what they do on and off the court.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you know, him as a coach, I could see him starting to let you gotta bleed. You gotta put defense in your focus. You know what I mean? The
Right.
Sixers sometimes, that's look to me, get a little lackadaisical on defense a lot of times.
Yeah.
Don't get back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go for rebounds when they take shots and
Right.
miss shots. So you know,
Yeah.
it's a give and
Right.
take. I just wanted to chime in on the situation.
Okay, yeah, but when I was saying that it's a new team to him,
Mm-hmm.
because anytime you change a
Right.
player or two, you change an element. That's a whole different team. It's like when that 6-man come off the bench, that whole energy on that floor is different now.
Right.
Everybody got to adjust to that 6-man and stuff like that on
Mhm.
that bench. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like a new team with
Right.
with James Harden and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everyone, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna pay some bills, and we're gonna get right back to you in a minute. Welcome everybody back to the Breadman Food for Thought podcast. And before we left off, we were just about to have Andre discuss virtues and vices of life, you know, from his perspective, and not only his perspective, our perspective too, because the conversation is going to be in depth and it's going to benefit our natural lifestyle, no matter who you are as a person. So, with that being said, I'm gonna come. Thank you for tuning back in, and we're gonna turn it on over to him to, you know, to say his piece.
Okay, yeah. Virtues and vices. You know, like, I grew up extremely shy. That shyness is a vice.
Okay. Wow.
That would grip you and stop you from advancing forward. You know, so if I see a pretty girl that I like, but that the level of shyness that I had will not allow me to approach that female. Right?
Valid point. Okay.
Yeah, so
makes
now,
sense.
Virtues is something that will help you, let's say, with more excellence, be a good person, right?
Okay.
But each virtue has two vices, and each vice has a virtue and a vice. So whatever vice that you're dealing with, you have to find that virtue to help you come out of that vice.
Okay, hold on now. Now, okay, so I like that, and I'm following you, and I got you. Now, recap one more time for everybody.
Okay.
I want to make sure I got this.
Okay, a virtue, right?
Okay.
A virtue is courage,
Okay.
wisdom, temperance, and justice.
Okay.
You know, a vice, fear, shyness.
So the vices is so many like limitations.
The vices is something that basically gonna hold you back, stop you from that forward progress or something.
Okay, like a limitation. Okay.
Yeah, you know,
all right.
That's a vice.
Okay.
So now, my vice was shyness.
Okay.
And I knew if I wanted to be a businessman, either I'm gonna have to have money to hire people to do everything I need them to do, to talk to this person, talk to that person, or to be successful, I'm gonna have to go ahead and meet people, cause you only gonna grow from your relationships and stuff.
That's
so
a fact.
if I'm shy,
right,
I can't build relationships.
Okay.
Right. So in order to grow my business, I knew that I had to come out that shyness. Now, other things in life where, I read different books, how to try to overcome the shyness. And, they had the mirror thing. You talk in the mirror, boom, 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 boom. And that might help you with one act. Say you had to do a speech. So, okay, you practice in the mirror. You're trying to get over that fear, so you practice in the mirror. That might help you for that one day. But what about the next day or when another something else happened? So basically what I had to do is, struggling with the shyness, right? I'm like, it's got to be a way. I read plenty of books and stuff, and then I read a book called God Will Be Done. Right? It was 3 books. And out of them 3 books, I was able to put together a program. Right? And the 3 things that was in that book that I put together a program was theoethics, right? Theoethics is basically your relationship with God. How you pray, meditation, and things like that. Wow. Right? Social ethics is your relationship with society, how you interact with society. Right? Psychoethics is basically your words of power, your truisms and things like that, right? That you tell yourself. So now using all 3 of them things, I was able to overcome, change that level of shyness. I still have it, right? But I was able to move. If we had a scale that slides, if I was a 5, I was able to bring it over, let's say, to 1. 0 being where I need to be for that courage. Right?
Okay.
So this is what I did. This is the program I put together.
Wow. And I want y'all to, I ain't gonna cut them off, but I want you guys to really stay keyed in here because this is a valuable life lesson. You know, and I'm taking this fully in because, you know, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. So continue.
Right. So basically, what I did was I worked on my social ethics, right? I knew what my social ethics was, my relationship with society. I'm very shy. So basically, when you know, like, everything that you do every day, right? Say you go to work, you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, and like, when you leave the house and you catch that same bus, sub, or whatever, you see the same people every day. Because they on that same program too, going to work or coming home from work, whatever they doing. So what I did, I visualized myself speaking to them, right? Just saying hi, something I never did. You know,
so you like forecasting your mind to do something.
Right.
Okay.
So my social ethics was, again, is my relationship with society, right?
Right.
I knew my relationship, right? Now, in my theoethics, my relationship with God. So in that is my meditation. So through my meditation and visualization, I play out my social ethics. That my day, I would play out my head. I visualize my day. And I visualize myself speaking to the people that I see every day now.
Wow.
Not looking for a conversation, but just practicing. Vision, you know, like the sensei, if you can see it, you can do it.
Right. Seeing is believing.
Right. So I used to visualize that I'm speaking to everybody, speaking. So now, the psychoethics, because guess what? When I go to play it out, I'm going to get nervous. But I had to have something to motivate me to keep going. And it couldn't be a long speech. So I remember looking at the 10 Commandments, right? And Moses, God was talking to Moses, and Moses was like saying, like, no, send Aaron when he wanted him to talk to Pharaoh. He was like, send Aaron. Because Aaron speaks better than me. Because Moses had like a stumbling problem and stuff like that. So he wanted God to send Aaron. But God said, who gave you your mouth? So I'm like, whoa, if God gave me my mouth, why is I'm scared to use it? So now when I got into that situation where that stress came about, I played in my head, who gave you your mouth? And that put that battery in my back, stuck my chest out like that alpha male. How y'all doing? Good morning. Good morning. You know what I'm saying? So that alone put me on the path of moving away from that shyness.
Those tools on any of your future endeavors. Again, Andre, thanks. That's big. I think people are going to take advantage of that. We need to take advantage of that because it's going to enhance anything that we do, any business, you know, and everywhere anybody lacking whatever they're lacking, it can strengthen their motive to, you know, to be better.
Together we sipping on what you say, not what you say.